Hi, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to install the LS-3100. And for this particular situation we're going to be using a small bedroom and a 32-inch widescreen TV. And I'm going to run through and show you the install process, giving you some possible hints and tips. The first thing we're going to need to do is to clear away everything. So now we actually have a start point to work from. So first up, we actually need to measure up the center of the area that we're actually going to be installing the screen and the speakers. And once we've marked that up, we then need to mark up the brackets and sorting out the placement for the speakers. And then when that's done, we can actually start mounting all of the required bits. And here you can see I've marked out the positions for drilling holes for the brackets, for the speakers, and the bracket for the flat screen TV that's going to go on the wall. Now we need to drill all of the holes for the bracket and the screen. I like to use an envelope with some low tack tape, and this helps to actually catch the dust from drilling holes. Also, I always start off with a smaller drill bit. This makes it more accurate for getting the hole where you need it to be. And when you're installing a bracket for a screen, that's very important. If you're in any doubt whatsoever, please ask a proper tradesman to come and do this for you. Then, when all the holes have been drilled, to fit the correct size raw plugs you're using for the particular job in hand at the time, hammer them in, and we're ready to move on to the next stage. When you're actually fitting screens and speakers to walls, please make sure that the wall can actually take the load, and please use the correct fixtures and fittings. So we're now onto the TV screen, and the first thing we've got to do is we've actually got to take the foot off because we're mounting it on the wall, and that's really easy. You just undo the required amount of bolts onto the back of the foot to remove it from the actual screen. Now, depending on what screen it is, they will connect in slightly different ways. Now, another small tip for you is the screws that you've actually taken out for the foot, actually replace them back into the screw holes if you can. Then that way they're always safe, you'll always know where they are, and they won't go wandering off. Now we're actually mounting the bracket onto the back of the screen, making sure that none of the cables, and in this case it's going to be the standard aerial lead and the optical out lead, are going to get crushed or tangled on the back of the screen when it's mounted. So with the bracket on, I'm just going to actually check for clearance for the optical lead, because they can actually be fragile. It plugs in nicely, and we now know with the distance with the bracket there's going to be a nice gap and the cable is not going to be fractured. And the aerial lead also plugs in and there's clearance for it as well. I've actually already pre-run the speaker cable for the LS-3100 system, and I've actually run it inside the wardrobe, so it's going to be nice and neat and we won't have cables on show. And installing the speaker bracket is really simple. You just use the keyhole slot in the back, and then it's very simple to attach the speaker onto the speaker cable as you would normally do, and then simply slide the actual speaker onto the bracket. And you do the same for the left and the right, and then that's done. To keep things nice and neat, I actually decided to run the cabling underneath the shelf and into each wardrobe on either side for the speaker cables, and then run some conduit up the centre of the wall so we can hide the cables for the TV. So with all the cables actually installed now and the conduit clip back on, we've actually got the main unit all attached and wired up. All of the cables underneath the shelf are actually now hidden as well. And that means the installation is almost finished. We've got the speakers up on the wall, we've got the screen up on the wall, we've got the control unit of the LS-3100 system all wired up and ready to go, and as you can see it looks very nice and neat and clean. There is one thing left, however, that we need to connect up to be able to run the whole system, and that's the subwoofer. And because it's wireless, you only actually have to plug it into the mains and you're ready to go. So we've been able to transform a normal bad sounding TV in a confined space to actually something that sounds and looks fantastic. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video on installing the LS-3100. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.